And I'm here with Tammy-Ann.
Hi, everybody.
And Tammy-Ann had a very wonderful conversation for about half an hour with Mariana in Australia. And they mentioned that Barbara Bell is coming out to visit with her in June. And she brought to my attention that it's winter in June back in Australia. And I didn't realize that they have opposite seasons we have. So I have to totally change my thinking when she says it's June. July is their winter time in Australia, if you could believe that. Well, we're out getting tans in June, July here in the States and in Canada. They're shoveling snow in her backyard in their driveway, which is it's really hard to make that transition.
I'm wearing cardigans, huh?
That's a private joke. Tammy, I want to start the show by asking you a question. We touched on it very briefly while we were talking to Mariana. What do you think happened to Flight 730, the one that was on its way to the one from Malaysia on its way to China?
Well, I think two possibilities, but the one I first thought of was the one that you mentioned, that they went into a parallel universe, because Rasha talks about it in her book, and it's a very interesting topic. But now, as Mariana says, if they did go into another universe, then her family should have gone too. But I don't know enough about it.
Well, why would her family go? Her family's living in a parallel universe.
That's true.
In this universe,
she'd be in the other one.
They're missing.
Yeah.
In the other universe, they're home having chop suey tonight for dinner.
Right.
So Marianne didn't understand that. I didn't understand when she said that on the phone.
Well, I understand both.
A parallel universe means you're living in both universes simultaneously, because we're multidimensional. So Mariana, I didn't understand when she said that. That couldn't be. So let me go back and ask you again. Based on now that I've answered that question, which you brought up, which you said would make it impossible, now you realize that that's not a valid objection. What do you think happened to Flight 370?
I think that they went into a parallel universe.
Okay. It's interesting. I was watching Fox News the other day, and Bill O'Reilly was the host on Fox News, and he played. He was there with a panel of three other people. He paid some guy. Said, "Well," he said, he says, could have something to do with aliens." And he shut the guy, and he started laughing so hard. He said, "Can you believe there's idiots out there? There's actually idiots out there that believe it could have something to do with a UFO or some kind of a parallel universe." And all this panel broke up and started laughing. Do you realize that we are a minority? That if somebody were to listen to us in mainstream media, that we actually believe there's such a thing as a parallel universe or aliens and identified flying objects, they would think that we're out of our minds.
And that's okay. They can think what they want.
How many of you out there in our audience believe that it's possible they could have gone into a parallel universe? It's been 3 weeks now, 2.5 weeks, and every day they say, "Oh, I saw something in the Indian Ocean floating." Then, "Oh, I saw something in the Cosmos Sea," or "I saw somebody over here." They fly over there. They're going to be doing that for the next year. They'll never find those people in this universe. I honestly, truly believe with all my heart and soul, they will never find these people in this universe. And those people are not dead. Those people are alive, and they're with their families. They think they safely got home to Beijing and landed there, and they're with their families in their parallel universe. But the point is that I want to know how many of you, raise your hands please, how many of you, count them, help me count them. 1, 2, only 40?
At least 50.
50, is that right?
There's thousands of people.
No, I think there's a lot of you probably say that there's a possibility that there could be such a thing as a parallel universe, and that might be the answer, because it's the only answer. Every other theory they have turns out to not work out. The pilots were conspirators. They had a conspiracy. They never met each other before. That was the first flight they ever took together before. The 2 Iranians on the flight, one Iranian was running out of Iran to go meet his mother in Germany because he was trying to escape from the country. Every theory they had has fallen apart. And now they're looking for a debris in the middle of 5 oceans. A whale, they'll spot a whale on a satellite. The satellite could be 5 miles up in space, and it spots a whale. It says, I saw some debris. I saw something black, and they'll send 25 ships from all around the world to go see the. But the whale's not there. Guess what? The whale moved.
I agree.
Anyway,
it's a media frenzy.
It's a media frenzy.
Yeah. Something to talk about.
Something to talk about, like what we're doing on the show right now. But I was really serious. I was really curious to get your input, because I didn't agree with Mariana's wisdom saying that how could it be a parallel universe, because the family would well, she didn't understand the multidimensional. We are multidimensional beings that would be in both universes.
Well, that's hard to understand, Nick.
Well, Mariana's, she's a young spirit.
I mean, I'm crazy, and I still have trouble with it. So
I don't have any trouble with that. No. I'm going to start off the show today answering a question that Randy Rios asked. In an email, Mariana told me she wanted me to address this question. Randy said, Paul wrote, quote, "Now this I say, brethren, that flesh and blood cannot inherit the kingdom of God. Behold, I tell you a mystery. We shall not sleep. We shall be changed in a moment, a twinkling of the eye." 1 Corinthians. He says Paul supposedly said this in his first letter to the congregation in Corinth, unless it was made up. No, it wasn't made up, Randy. He said, Nick, do you recall Paul saying that, and what does it mean? I do recall Paul saying that, but they changed it. But let me explain to what it means. It says, quote, "Now this I say, brethren, that flesh and blood cannot inherit the kingdom of God." Well, that's right. It's not our bodies that go up to the kingdom. It's our spirit and souls that go up to God. So Paul was saying that it's not our flesh and blood that go up to heaven, go to another dimension. Our flesh and blood deteriorates into dust. It's our spirit and souls that inherit the kingdom of God. So that's an easy question, Randy. And you went on to say, Paul went on to say, "I tell you a mystery. We shall not sleep, but we shall all be changed in a moment." They changed the word "die." Paul said that we do not die, but we are changed in a moment. And they couldn't accept the word "die," so they changed the word to "sleep." Because Paul says, "I tell you a mystery. We do not die, but we all be changed in a moment, in the twinkling of an eye." End of quote. That's what Paul said. The one word they changed was the word sleep. They changed the word death to sleep, because they looked at it as a synonymous word. To die was the same as to sleep. So that was your answer. Paul was saying that flesh and blood doesn't go to heaven, the spirit world. It's your spirit and soul. And that when you die, you're changed in a moment, like the twinkling of an eye. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Okay. The next thing you asked here, question was, you've been reading over some of the older posts on the site, and you keep coming back to the same question. What's the point? What point? What does it all mean? Will there be a time in the future, a year, 50 years, 100 years, when the entire earth will be at peace? Question mark. No wars, hatred, or fear? Question mark. Do we as individuals transcend? Okay, let me stop and answer that question. It all depends on free will. I can't answer a question. When God gave us all the gift of free will, He gave us the right to choose ourselves whether we want to have peace or war. So I can't answer a question. If you're asking me that question, will there be peace 100 years from now, 1,000 years from now? Because it all depends on free will, man and woman, free will humanity. I will say this, though, we can make a major difference and have an impact on it by our getting other people to embrace universal love and universal compassion and bringing in the great tomorrow. We can definitely make an impact and hopefully influence enough people so that the future leaders in the world do not want to have war. They'd rather have peace and harmony. Does that make sense to you?
Yes, I agree.
You're not saying you agree just because you want to sense agree?
No, I agree. And I know what Randy's asking, because I sometimes ask the same thing.
Well, the answer's the same.
I know. I know what the answer is. I'm just impatient.
Yeah. Well, you can be part of the great tomorrow and help change a thing.
Right.
There are people who are going to be reading our books and maybe reading some of our teachings 100 years from now and say, I remember when this movement started, when they started the great tomorrow. And look at today, we have peace in the world. And it's only the year 2114.
Yeah, and it starts with us. and our grandkids, our kids and our grandkids.
Every movement had to start someplace.
Mm-hmm.
Just as Jeshua's teaching started 2,000 years ago. Only I don't think it's going to take us 2,000 years in order to have the great tomorrow become
I
reality.
sure hope not.
Otherwise,
How about tomorrow? Let's have it start today.
we're going to get into that a little later. Randy went on to say, do we as individuals transcend or ascend to some other dimension, having reached the top of Nick's pyramid? Well, it's not my pyramid, it's your own pyramid, but or does this world of duality continue forever like it has, and we simply transcend, and we simply transcend it all individually? No, it does. Once you reach the top, you don't have to come back again in the physical body. You're at one with God. And that's the whole purpose of our ascending, our ascension. That's the whole purpose of our moving forward and on the pyramid and becoming at one with God, so that we do not have to come back again. So it does transcend itself. And so we do not have a situation. It's not a circle where you keep coming around and round and round, and you never come to the end, just like the earth. It's a circle. In this case, it is linear. It is linear in that every time we make a transition of our soul, we go to a higher dimension until eventually we reach the top of our pyramid, and the dimension we reach is one that doesn't have to come back and incarnate again. Does that make sense, Tanya?
You can choose to come back and help others.
Well,
I believe that.
Yeah, they say every 500 years an avatar is born.
Yeah.
Muhammad came 500 years after Joshua. Siddhartha was 500. Did you know that? Mm-hmm. Siddhartha was 500 years before Joshua was born, and he became the leader of the Buddhist religion.
Yeah,
Buddhism.
Mm-hmm.
Then Joshua came, and then 500 years after Joshua, there was Muhammad was born. He started the Islamic religion. They say every 500 years there is reincarnated a person of tremendous spiritual growth and wisdom, that they are what did I use? I used the word a minute ago.
I don't know, I'm trying to think of it myself.
At any rate, they
enlightened. Maybe.
Well, it's another word for enlightened, but they literally changed the world and either start a new religion or a new movement every 500 years.
Mm-hmm.
And so that I don't know who would have been 1,000 years ago, 1,000 AD. At any rate, the answer is not circular, it is linear. And we do go to a higher dimension to eventually become at one with God and Christ consciousness, and we don't have to return. Now, that number you see right there, that means there's 20 people on Justin that's watching us.
Yeah.
Oh,
but you know what? I always watch it on Justin.
No, these are people that are not on our site. They happen to just be streaming through Justin and came across us by accident. They're wondering, who are these people?
And you know what? You always say that, and yet I see the same number you do on my screen.
Oh yeah, in your home?
Yes.
Okay.
And I go through the site.
Yeah, but those people are not on our site.
I know, but I go through the site and I see that number.
Okay.
But I'm weird.
Does this world of duality continue or forever look like it has? Oh, well, you already asked that question. What does the great tomorrow look like? Randy continues. Randy, how come you're asking 7 questions in one email? You're breaking the rules.
No, he's not. Answer him.
Okay. What does the great tomorrow look like? What is the vision? I'm hoping this Sunday show will address these questions. Okay, I'll address them this Sunday.
That's today.
Oh, there is no such
The great
thing.
today.
The great today.
The great today.
Okay, what is the great tomorrow going to look like?
Whatever we imagine it to be.
It's what we create, Randy. What we're doing here. The great tomorrow is the great tomorrow. Hopefully, is going to change the world. It's going to influence the lives of many, many people who are going to become the future leaders in the world, who will embrace universal love and universal compassion, and will realize that It doesn't make sense to spend billions and billions of dollars on weapons of destruction when those billions of dollars can be spent to raise the standard of living of children that are starving over the world, of children that have no shelter, in order to cure diseases, find the cures for cancer and different sicknesses and diseases. That's what the Great Tomorrow's goal is, and hopefully that's what the Great Tomorrow will accomplish. The question really we should be asking ourselves is that, are we able to go ahead and create the Great Tomorrow? And if so, how many tomorrows will have to take in order for the Great Tomorrow become today?
There's a song in there. I think there's a song in there.
What do you mean?
Or at least a poem. Oh, I might have to write that down.
What I just said?
Yeah. How many tomorrows will it take for a great today?
Huh. To create a great today.
Great, yeah.
That was kind of clever.
It was kind of clever.
Okay, Randy, thanks for your questions. Every so often I come up with something
It's kind
clever.
of like that Blowing in the Wind song. That's the song that popped in my head. How many times can the man walk down before he sees the sky and the road? How many times? How many times does it take? How many children have to die before we can have the great tomorrow? How many?
Well, I think the important thing is that we have to live one day at a time. That's really what the important thing is.
With love and compassion.
Every day offers us the opportunity to create the great tomorrow, to do something in order to create the great tomorrow. We can get inspirations. We can get new ideas on how to create the great tomorrow. We have to do that today, because it's today's that make up tomorrow, the tomorrows.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how we have the great tomorrow, based on what we do today. New ideas, creativities, new people we have that become part of the great tomorrow, that we incite to join us and to become part of our great tomorrow. We create more and more apostles, teachers of the who join us in helping to have other people who are disciples, which means pupils, understand the difference between having love and compassion in life and living in the soul mind, as opposed to living in your ego mind.
Mm-hmm.
So it really depends on what we do today. We have to literally take advantage of every day. You know, how many times do we hear people say that? First of all, you have to realize we could never be closer to God and Spirit than we are today. We could never, ever be closer to God and Spirit than we are today. But that's true of every day. So you hear some people say, someday I want to find God. Where do you want to find God? You think God's hiding someplace, hiding in the closet? What does it mean, someday you want to find God, when you hear that expression? Or someone says, or someday I want God in my life. God is in your life every single day. God is with us right now. God's in this room. Now, when I use the word God, I mean it simultaneous with Spirit, because I don't know how to define God, Tammy. I don't know how to define God.
I don't either. You can't. It's like the Tao. If you can name it, then it's not it.
Right. I know that I can see God's work when I look up at the sky at nighttime and I see the thousands on a clear day. You can see all the stars in the sky. Or when you look out at the horizon, you know, when you look at the horizon, do you know why you have a horizon? Do you know why?
Because the world is round, we can't
Exactly.
see the other side.
Exactly, because the Earth is round. God created a round Earth, and that's why we see horizons. Because if the Earth wasn't round, it would just go on indefinitely flat, and you wouldn't be. It'd fill up the sky because it would just go on flat.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that amazing that God? You actually are looking at the horizon. You're seeing where the Earth turns, where the edge of the Earth turns of its roundness. I don't know how many people think of that when they look at the horizon.
Don't know.
When you look at the ocean, could man have created the ocean? God created the ocean.
Well, I mean, when you look at the ocean, you can see why people would think the world was flat, because it's just there. You can't see the other side. And the sky is just there.
And yet, you know, on the other side is that Japanese guy. When you walk along
It's
Cannon
that
Beach,
airplane they're looking for.
when you walk along Cannon Beach, Cannon Beach is about an hour and a half drive west of where Tammy and I are right now. When you walk on Cannon Beach and look out at the ocean, Tammy, it's hard to believe that there's a guy on the other side of the ocean that's sitting and maybe walking in the sand looking back at us, because all we see is ocean because the earth is round.
And that's all he sees is ocean.
Same Pacific.
So they say.
You could drop a bottle with a little message.
Yeah.
Just go, "Ni hao ma," and put it in a bottle and push it off. And 5 years later, a little bottle of Pepsi shows up on the coast.
Yeah.
Japan. And it goes, "Ah, Nico Yamga." I'm not making fun of them. What I'm saying is that that bottle could actually go from Oregon to whatever the coast town is in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
They made a movie once, didn't they? Putting a message in a
Well,
bottle.
look at the debris that showed up from Japan from a couple of years ago.
Yeah. Kevin Costner played in a movie once about message in a bottle.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah. Okay, I'm getting off on the subject. So God's available to us right now. I mean, God's with us. We don't go looking for God, and you can't define God. So whenever I use the word God, I want you to know I'm talking about spirit also. I think of them simultaneously because we're talking about the spirit of God. But just as Yeshua said in the letter that channeled to us, he mentioned that God is everywhere. You can't define God. There is no definition of God. God is in everything we see, everything we touch. And it's so important to understand that. That all life, and as far as the great tomorrow, Tammy, all life is today. All that life is today. It's all contained in the present moment. And it's so important for people to learn to live in the now. This moment we're in right now. I even use the word now just now in that sentence. This is the most important moment right now that we're in right now, Tammy. You and I. And the people that are watching us.
Mm-hmm.
The present moment. Do you remember the vow? The one that says, enjoy life every moment. That is, enjoy life for you. It doesn't say enjoy life tomorrow. It doesn't say enjoy life next week. Enjoy life in an hour. He says enjoy life every moment. It is so important we learn how to live in the moment. There's no more important moment than the moment. It's all the moments of today that make up the future now. Now I think of the analogy I gave about a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago, where I said that when we're in school, they just can't wait to graduate.
Oh, yeah.
Just can't wait till we graduate.
Everybody wants to get, yeah.
Why don't they enjoy the now?
Future.
Enjoy the prom you're going to.
Mm-hmm.
Enjoy that first beer you're going to have. Enjoy the football game you're going to see your team cheer on, or you're going to play in, or whatever. Enjoy the now rather than saying, I can't wait till I graduate. Enjoy the now.
There's a band that Mariana loves called Passenger. And by the way, Mariana, I really appreciate that one.
You have to raise your voice.
Absolutely.
She's in Australia, but she can tell you the same.
Hey, Mariana! No, I absolutely love that CD that I bought. And there's a song on there that he talks about. He takes a walkabout through the town, and he sees the little kids trying to look older, and the women spending all this money trying to look younger, and it's all about this future self that they want to be. The kids want to get older, and then when they get there, no, they want to be younger. So what is that perfect age? What is it that we're all trying to achieve?
And they should live in the now.
Yeah, you should live in the moment right now.
Enjoy the moment. Because when they go to college, they're starting to worry about what they're going to do when they graduate.
Oh, yeah.
My son calls on the phone about once every 2 weeks. Dad, should I take this course? Should I take that course? What am I going to do? I said, you're only a freshman.
Yeah.
You're a freshman. Enjoy the now.
Right.
But should I study for this? It's not going to make a difference. I majored in marketing, and I ended up being a land developer and an author. I majored in marketing at the University of Florida. I got a BSBA in business administration. I ended up becoming a land developer and an author, and formed a computer corporation in Focus Systems. It doesn't make a difference. What you major in college, just enjoy it. Live for the moment. Enjoy it. Do your best, and don't worry about those future tomorrows. I mean,
Yeah.
they'll take care of themselves. It's true of everything in life. It's true of every one of you that are listening to the show.
Well, because people ask you, what are you going to be when you grow up? What do you want to be when you grow up? They ask you that when you're in school, when you're a kid. And
I kind of have a joke about that. I got some friends of mine that are really big, overweight guys. And I say, what do you want to be when you grow up? You want to be a jockey?
that's not very nice.
I wasn't trying to be nice. I was trying to get them to live in the now, to recognize I'll never be a jockey. A jockey on a horse.
Well, maybe they don't want to be a jockey.
That's my whole
maybe
point.
Maybe they want to be a sumo wrestler.
Okay.
The point is, it's their life.
Well, it's their life, but I'm teasing them, saying that,
I know.
why try to pretend you want to be something you can't be?
Right.
That's
well, actors and actresses, they pretend all the time. They're not being who they are. They're being somebody else on the big screen.
What's your point?
The point is, people are always trying to be something else.
Hmm.
They're always trying to be better and see what they think is better. And
okay.
Instead of living for what you are and who you are,
I like that.
they're always trying to be somebody else,
So
trying to be older, trying to be younger, trying to be thinner, trying to be fatter.
So we shouldn't have any movies, and we shouldn't have any actors in the world.
Well, it's entertainment,
Okay.
but too many people emulate them.
Okay. Hmm.
Instead of reaching for God, they're reaching for the movie stars and what they did yesterday with who. And
You make a good point.
it's the wrong direction.
They're trying to vicariously live their lives as they thinking that they're their movie with the person they see on the screen.
Yeah, exactly.
Whether they want to be macho or they want to look sexy.
Right, but the person on the screen isn't the person on the screen.
Right, because
they're an actor.
Right.
They're being somebody else.
That's true. That's true. Okay. So, and the same is true when I was saying about going to college and then you get a job and you work your butt off trying to do well, and you say, boy, I can't wait till I retire. Why do you want to retire? Enjoy the moment. Enjoy what you're doing. Get the best of it. Touch other people's lives. Make new friends. Help other people. Enjoy life. Make a contribution to your company. Whatever. Why do you want to wait to retire? What are you going to do when you retire?
Go fishing. Isn't that what people do? Go fishing?
I don't know. I don't fish. I don't play golf. I mean, I write books, and
you talk to a computer screen. Maybe you should go fishing, Nick.
And let you do the show by yourself next week.
I don't think so. I have to fly Mariana over here, or at least Bonnie.
I think any one of the three of you could do the show.
I wouldn't do it by myself.
Well, I think any one of the three of you could do that. Mariana, you want to do the show next week? Get on an airplane. It's getting cold, you told me there. You're just starting winter where you are. We're starting our spring.
Yeah, I have a spare room.
Fly out here, and you can do the show next week, Mariana.
That would be fun.
And you can sit in front of this computer and talk to yourself.
Now, wouldn't that be fun?
Now, I want to ask you a question. Do you think that the people in our audience right now, which are all over the world, we got Cabana in Africa,